All right, let's get right into it. Today we're going to unpack a totally different way to think about AI and creativity, and it comes straight from a professor at Stanford. If you've ever felt like you're just scratching the surface of what AI can do for you, well, this explainer is going to be a game changer.
You know, this quote, it just rings so true, doesn't it? Our best ideas, those big aha moments, they almost never happen when we're staring at a screen trying to force it. They pop up when our minds are just somewhere else.
And that brings us to this amazing story about Winston Churchill. So, picture this. He's in his bathtub, and he's dictating a major national address to his assistant who's in the next room. And it's not just a one-way dictation. He'll say something like, "Distinguished ladies and gentlemen," and she'll start writing. Then he yells, "No, no, don't call them distinguished, get right to the point." That's the dream, right? An assistant who is so in sync with you, they get your voice, your context, your real intent, so you can create from literally anywhere.
Now here's where it gets really mind-bending. Stanford Professor Jeremy Utley makes this incredible point. That level of collaboration, once reserved for, world leaders, it's now technically available to every single one of us. AI gives us that power. The potential is just massive.
Okay, but if we all have this superpower in our pocket, why aren't we all churning out genius-level work? That very simple question leads us to something Utley calls the realization gap. And the data here is, well, it's pretty shocking. Research shows that AI has the potential to boost the quality of our work by 40%. 40! But then look at this other number. Less than 10% of professionals are actually seeing any real, meaningful gains from it. There's this huge chasm between what's promised and what's actually happening.
And this is where it gets really weird. When researchers started digging into why this gap exists, they found something that makes no sense at first. For a whole lot of people, using AI was actually making them less creative, not more. It was like it was actively steering them toward mediocrity.
So that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? If most people are getting stuck, but this small group is absolutely crushing it, what are they doing differently? What's their secret? Well, it turns out it all starts with one simple flip, changing who's asking the questions.
And this brings us to the first huge mental shift. It's about turning your whole interaction with AI completely upside down. Instead of you just barking orders at it, you need to let the AI ask you questions.
This is what makes AI so fundamentally different from any other piece of software we've ever had. You can't ask PowerPoint, "Hey, how should I design this slide to be more impactful?" It doesn't work. But you can ask an AI, "What's the best way for me to ask you this question to get an amazing result?" AI has this incredible meta ability to reflect on how it's being used, and we've got to start tapping into that.
And here's a super practical prompt that shows you exactly how to do it. You can literally try this today. You go to your AI and you set the stage. You tell it you're an expert consultant. Then you have it interview you about what you do. And finally, you ask for recommendations. The conversations that spark from this are they're eye-opening.
Let me tell you a quick story to show you this in action. This is Adam Reimer. He's a backcountry ranger. And he said one of the things he absolutely hated about his job was the paperwork. Just to replace a single carpet tile could take him 2 or 3 days of just filling out forms. He thought there has to be a better way. Could AI help? So using this back-and-forth consultative approach, in just 45 minutes, Adam built a simple little tool with just natural language that automated all that paperwork. He shared it, and this year alone, the National Park Service estimates it's going to save 7,000 days of human labor. All from one guy with no coding background who just learned to have a different kind of conversation with his AI.
That incredible result, it wasn't just about a clever prompt. It came from a much, much deeper change in mindset. And this right here is the absolute heart of this whole explainer. You have to stop thinking of AI as a tool and start treating it like a teammate.
So what's the real difference? Well, look here. When you see AI as a simple tool, it spits out an answer. If it's kind of meh, you either struggle to fix it yourself or you just give up. But when you see it as a teammate and it gives you a mediocre first draft, your entire response is different. You coach it, you give it feedback, you work together to make it better.
I mean, think about it in real-world terms. If a junior person on your team gives you a first draft that's not quite there, you don't fire them on the spot, right? Of course not. You coach them. You give them pointers. You help them improve. The people getting the best results from AI are doing that exact same thing.
And check out this practical drill. It shows just how far this teammate idea can go. Let's say you have a really tough conversation coming up with a coworker.
You can actually get the AI to interview you about them, build a psychological profile, and then role-play the entire conversation with you, acting as that coworker. And then it can give you feedback from their perspective. I mean, that is so far beyond just asking a question and getting an answer.
But, any good collaboration is a two-way street. The AI is an amazing teammate for sure, but what do you bring to the table? I think this quote from the Grammy winner Lecrae just nails it. Inspiration is a discipline. See, we all have access to the same AIs, but the results are wildly different because of what we, the humans, bring to the conversation. Our experience, our perspective, our unique inspiration.
So once you make these shifts, letting the AI ask you questions, treating it like a real teammate, that's when you unlock the final piece of the puzzle. That's when you can move beyond just good enough work and start creating things that are truly exceptional.
I absolutely love this definition of creativity, which apparently came from a 7th grader. It's so simple, but so deep. True creativity isn't about that one magic idea. It's about having the drive to push past that first obvious answer.
And this actually points to a real cognitive bias we all have. It's called satisficing. It's our brain's natural tendency to just grab the first solution that seems okay and stop there. And the big danger with AI is that it makes getting to good enough so fast and so easy that it can trap us there, in that zone of mediocrity.
So here's the bottom line. Our job in the creative process has fundamentally changed. It's not about finding a good answer anymore, and AI can do that in a second. Our job now is to work with our AI teammate, to use its incredible power to generate options, and then to guide that collaboration past all the obvious stuff towards something that is truly special.
It really all comes down to this one simple sentence. The next time someone asks you, how do you use AI? The right answer is, I don't, I work with it. Just changing that one word, from use to work with. It captures this entire new way of thinking. It's not a tool you operate, it's a partner you create with.
And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. The whole conversation needs to shift. We have to stop asking, how do you use AI? And start asking ourselves, how well am I working with it? Because that is where all the real breakthroughs are just waiting to happen.